turn to developing news that we've been following all day. Life-threatening levels of carbon monoxide inside a Southampton shopping plaza that sent several people to the hospital just this morning.
Western Mass News reporter Maria Wilson joins us live in Southampton after getting answers from local fire officials. Maria, what are they telling you?
Well, Abby, Chris, at least 6 people were inside epoxying a floor in one of the stores here in the Red Rock Plaza in Southampton earlier this morning when they started to feel ill. And then they were all able to safely exit the building. But when fire crews arrived, they found life-threatening levels of carbon monoxide. We've learned from Southampton's acting fire chief that emergency crews arrived on scene shortly before 9 a.m., where they found half a dozen people sick, showing signs of carbon monoxide poisoning. Of the 6, 4 people were taken to nearby hospitals and 2 refused treatment. We know that 3 of those patients were taken to Bay State Medical Center for more severe symptoms, but none of them life-threatening. Chief Richard Fasoli tells Western Mass News when crews arrived, their carbon monoxide meters gave them a reading of 299. Normal reading for homes and other buildings is 0. Chief Fasoli is now warning people about the dangers of carbon monoxide.
The machine, it was, internal combustion machine they were using in an enclosed environment. They didn't have the proper ventilation, and they didn't have any kind of alarm CO meter to let them know that there was, they were an issue. If they didn't self-extricate, it could have been a lot worse.
Chief Fasoli advises anyone using this type of machinery to make sure that they have proper ventilation and working CO meters. He says any CO reading above 50 can be life-threatening. And given the number of patients here today, Southampton received help from a number of different local fire departments to help respond to this issue, including East Hampton, Northampton, Westfield, and Action Ambulance Services. For now, reporting live in Southampton, Maria Wilson, Western Mass News.